Hey guys, welcome to Empowerment in the 210. This is our third episode. My name is Christopher Motz. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Miss Talented Genevieve Sims.
Hi, everybody.
And we have the one and only Mr. Chuck Cureau in the house today.
Yeah.
If you don't know Chuck, you're not from San Antonio because this guy is everywhere. He's you see him at Spurs games, you see him in commercials, you see him at SeaWorld. I mean, you're everywhere. You're a very busy man, Chuck.
I am a busy man, and I thank you. I thank you for that. And I just when you say all those nice things, I'm humbled and I'm so appreciative because I never expected it. So thank you for that warm welcome. Thanks for letting me be here.
Yes,
this
we're
is great.
excited. Oh my
this.
gosh. So as you can see, he is one of the most humble and amazing guys here, and you're about to hear his story. But real quick, I'm going to go through this real quick rundown just in case you don't know who Chuck is, okay?
See, now, this is where it gets
We're going to switch it, but see, watch his face. You see how humble he is? Okay, so Chuck is the arena host for the San Antonio Spurs basketball team and is a recognizable figure within the community. He MCs a bunch of San Antonio events, including the New Year's Eve downtown celebration, the Food Bank, United Way, Red Cross, San Antonio Zoo, and Fiesta fundraisers. And of course, San Antonio's 300 birthday celebrations and city pageant and talent shows. He has also mesmerized the crowds at the SeaWorld live animal shows, has been a master of ceremonies for corporate events for Valero, UT Health Texas Travel Industry Association, and Associated Builders and Contractors. So Chuck, also some of you guys don't know this, he's a professional actor and has appeared in commercials, Emmy-nominated TV shows, and major motion pictures. That is a very accomplished person here,
I'm
guys.
Blessed. I'm very, very blessed and very appreciative of it. It's like, wow, it's like sometimes you just don't realize, when you get into it, you just don't realize, you do the stuff and then you move on to the next thing and after a while you've got this body of work and it isn't until lovely people such as yourselves will point it out and show an appreciation for it that I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's really cool that I was able to host a city New Year's Eve countdown downtown.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's like there's been things on my bucket list and through mentorships with people who've helped guide me along the way, and through the support of family and friends, and of course through my God, I've been able to do those things. And again, I'm so grateful for it. It's been so much fun.
Oh wow, man! When Chris and I were sitting down and brainstorming, trying to think who's the best person to have on our show called Empowerment in the 210. It's like, why not Chuck? Because you are literally the voice of San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh, the 210.
I'm trying. I like it. I'm just bring it on. Bring it on. I love it.
So, Chuck, tell our listeners how you became one of the most sought MCs in San Antonio. Tell us about your journey to become where you are, sitting with us. And Genevieve just went over the established resume of all these amazing accomplishments you have in your career. So how did you become Chuck Cureau?
Yeah, there's really no clear-cut path. It just kind of happened organically, as people say it now, but it really did. I grew up in San Antonio, moved here. I was born here, and then Air Force dependent, so we moved around. Then I came back here my freshman year of high school. Shout out to John Marshall High School, and then went to college here. Got my job at SeaWorld. And the early part of my life, I wanted to be a television broadcaster, so I wanted to be on TV and I wanted to host things. So started going to school for journalism and broadcast. And SeaWorld opened up in 1988. So I thought, I'm going to get a job there as a tour guide so I can practice my public speaking skills so that I can have that'll help me in my broadcast career. So I took a job as a tour guide there. It was just going to be for the summer. Famous last word. Oh, it's just going to be for the summer of 88. Here it is, 35 years later.
And it continues.
Yeah. But when I got there, something happened that first summer. I fell in love with the idea of training animals to educate and entertain people. So I decided to become an animal trainer. And I remember, I didn't know how to swim. And it's like, how are you going to train whales and dolphins? And you be one of those guys in the water with them and you can't swim. So I was like, I got a plan. I'm going to learn to swim. So I joined a gym and that had a pool by my house. And I would go there and I'd swim every day. Wow. And I would get so frustrated because I was afraid to put my head underwater. It was as though I didn't want to get my hair wet. Yeah, I had hair back in those days.
I've seen pictures. Yeah.
And there were literally times where I would go there and I'd swim and put my head underwater and I'd feel like I was going to drown, and I'd get up and say, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this pipe dream. So I'd go get in the shower, and then I'd sit there and I'd be like, don't give up. And then I'd calm down, go jump back in that pool. And over the course of about 9 months, I was able to go from not wanting to put my head underwater and probably dog paddling to being able to pass this pretty rigorous swim test that SeaWorld puts you through, that you have to demonstrate freestyle swimming and underwater swimming and diving to the bottom of a pool, a strong, long breath hold. And I got there, and it was one of the greatest accomplishments of my life. I mean, incredible. It surpassed like graduating high school, graduating college. At that time, it was the greatest accomplishment of my life because 9 months prior, I couldn't swim.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 9 months from that point, I passed this extremely rigorous swim test. And I remember when I passed the test, I got out and there was other applicants who were swimming along with me. And I just sat on the side and I put the towel over my head and I started crying, because I'm kind of a sappy, emotional guy. And I did it. And I remember in the interview telling the guy, similar story, and I was like, I didn't know how to swim 9 months ago, but I passed. And I looked at that man and I said, if you don't hire me, I'll be disappointed, but I will still hold my head high because this is one of the greatest accomplishments of my life.
Wow.
And
that's
that
powerful.
That gentleman hired me, and that's when it took off at SeaWorld.
Wow, I mean, that's a great introduction to your career path too. I mean, accomplishing something that's scary.
It was very scary. Yeah, it was really scary. So from that point, I went and I started training beluga whales and dolphins.
Oh my gosh!
Performing in shows. Yeah, so that was great. And so my performance background. So I did drama in high school and a couple of years of that broadcast. So I had that performance background, and so I was able to utilize that at SeaWorld to benefit SeaWorld and their education and conservation mission and teach people about the animals. And so I just really enjoyed that. I enjoyed being that conduit, that gap between the animals and the audience. And that's where, again, my life changed because people in the audience would recognize me. And let's face it, I realize I'm tall, I'm long, I'm lanky, kind of goofy looking. I stand out a little bit. So I'm not hiding in a crowd or anything like that. And people would come and they'd say, "Oh, who's that guy who's really animated? Maybe he could MC something for us." And that's how the Spurs opened up. There were people who saw me and knew me from SeaWorld, and they reached out and said, "Hey, we'd like to talk to you about some opportunities with our team." And at first, I thought, "Are they trying to recruit me? I played basketball." I didn't know that the recruitment process at that time. And so I met with the gentleman who was my boss at the time, and we just talked, and he said, "Well, we're considering you for the role as in arena host, the hype guy."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, yeah, I'd love the audition." And the man looked at me and he said, "There's no audition. It's yours. I know you can do this." Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
And sometimes that's unheard of in the entertainment industry.
Yes, absolutely.
So I was all like, "What? It's mine if I want." And I would call my buddies and I'd be like, "I'm going to be arena host announcer for the Spurs."
Yeah.
And they're like,
as you should.
"But you don't know anything about basketball." And I was like, "I know. That's the craziest thing about it. How is that going to work?" And I was up front with the Spurs. I was like, I'm not going to be the play-by-play announcer, color announcer, or anything like that. I said, but I can hype the crowd for you.
Sure.
And they're like, and they've worked with me, and it's been 17 amazing seasons. They've given me more and more opportunities. I've learned a little bit more about basketball, so I can speak a little bit about it. And the organization has amazing leadership, and they have wonderful standards that we all rise to and adhere to and buy into. And it's made me a better person. And again, from my being the host at the Spurs games, businesses saw me and they're like, "Hey, can he come and MC our employee event? Can he come and MC a charitable fundraiser?"
The domino effect.
It's the domino effect. I've never used that term to describe it, but it's been an amazing domino effect.
Is that the point when you also had an agent, or when did you have having an agent? That
was a SeaWorld thing. So a buddy of mine who was an animal trainer at SeaWorld at the time, Tony Halstead, shout out to Tony Halstead, who's still here in town, a great guy. He and I were on a break at SeaWorld, and he was looking through the paper, and he was like, "Oh, they're having this play of A Few Good Men." And he goes, I should go and audition. I was like, have you ever taken an acting class? Have you ever been in a play? And he's like, no, but that would be cool to do. And I was like, this guy, well, whatever. He got the audition. He got the role. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yes.
And he was in a play.
No previous experience.
No.
Wow.
No. He was in a play, and then a talent agent, was at the play and approached him afterwards and said, I'd like to represent you. And he comes to work and goes, hey, a talent agent came and saw me and wants to represent me. And I was like, what? I said, that's not fair. And so he said, I'll get you connected. And so thanks to him, I got connected to this agent. They signed me. And I think it was like 2 months later, I had my first modeling gig, which again, I'd be transparent. It's one of my insecurities is my appearance and the confidence. And they wanted me to be a model. So I was like, okay. So I wore this shirt from a store called Solo Serve that I don't think exists anymore. And it was this very colorful shirt. Remember, this was the late 80s, early 90s. And so it was really colorful. And there I was in like the Sunday Circular. And then my acting career with this agent kind of took off. I did commercials for the Texas Lottery, and did a couple movies, which was really exciting.
Let's talk about the movies.
The movies,
The movies
appearing on
that
Netflix
here.
right now. No, the first one was a movie called The Life of David Gale, and it starred. The main stars were Kevin Spacey and Kate Winslet of Titanic fame.
Wow,
both of those are Oscar-winning actors.
Yes.
Both.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
And so I had a small role, but a noticeable role. I mean, something happened in the scenes that I was in that kind of changes the course of the movie. So, I had a scene with Kevin Spacey, an amazing actor, and I just remember, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. You can't look bad. He's a great actor. Remember your lines. Get your motivation straight. And I did it, and it was just an amazing experience. And afterwards, I kind of befriended people on the set, as you often do. And I said, hey, if anyone wants to come out to SeaWorld and learn about animals and conservation, I'm happy to host you out there. And Kate Winslet took me up on it. So that was an amazing thing. So she and her little daughter at the time and her assistant drove from Austin, because that's where the movie was filming, came down to SeaWorld, and we went all around and showed all the animals. And it was funny. I didn't tell anyone.
Incredible experience.
Yeah. I didn't tell anyone it was her. I just said, I'm bringing a friend by. And I walked up, and everyone was just like, Chuck, can I see you over here for a minute? And we'd go, behind the door, or whatever. And they'd be like, was that Kate Winslet? And I'm like, cool, man, be cool.
Cool.
But she was absolutely lovely, lovely. And that was before the time of social media. So I would have loved to have exchanged social media or whatever. And I remember thinking, it's like, oh, maybe I just ask her for her email and we can just keep in touch. But I didn't.
Oh, no.
I'm sure she remembers that. I'm sure you impacted her life. Like, that's a memory that her and her daughter shared together. Yeah. And if you ever run into her again,
I would bring it up. Yeah,
absolutely.
Do you remember going to SeaWorld, Texas? I was that guy.
Behind the scenes stuff. I should do that.
So that was one movie. Another movie was the third installment of the Spy Kids movie, Spy Kids All the Time in the World.
I'm trying to recollect in my mind, because my kids and I watched that movie.
Yeah,
what was your role in that?
I was the television anchor. So he was the guy who was reporting all the
perfect
doom and
role.
gloom.
Yeah,
I know, right? Yeah, I know, because I studied it for a couple years.
Okay.
Perfect role, Let's just talk about the doom and gloom, and did some ad-libbing, which was great. And Robert Rodriguez, local guy who has a studio up in Austin, he's just super, super nice. And he invited me to go to Los Angeles for the red carpet premiere there. Wow. And I was like, I'm going. When is this going to happen again? So I walked the red carpet there and saw people like Jeremy Piven and Joel McHale and Jessica Alba. Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I'm like,
and again, I was like, this is my life. I've dreamed about it as a little boy, and it was coming to fruition.
That is so amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
But had you not taken that risk or that leap of faith of just starting from jumping into that pool?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I'll be honest with you. It's sometimes insecurity gets the best of a person, and I'll admit that's something that I've struggled with and continue to struggle with, is lack of confidence.
Right.
It's like when people call me and say, "Hey, would you MC in the Bahamas?" True story.
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I hope I'm good enough. Can I do this? Oh gosh, this long script here, and it's like, oh, this is the first time I've met these people. I'm going to go down there. I'm not going to know anybody, and I'm not around my comfort zone. And can I do this?" And It's like, it's almost like an imposter syndrome.
Right.
Where,
Right.
you know, it's like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, they're thinking I'm this, but I'm not. I'm this. I'm not. So I'm learning and to trust myself and to trust the circle of people around me who might see something in me that I don't see. And that's, you know, I think that's what God puts people in your life to kind of help you. So if it's, you know, you're down on yourself and he's going to put someone in your life to say, no, man, you got this. You can do this. And it's very helpful.
I think that's so great of you to share that on here, Chuck, because who you are and how people look up to you. Again, you're the MC pretty much of San Antonio, and you have this statue in the city, and for you to say that, because we all deal with those insecurities, and we all feel, I mean, I can relate to what you just said, that I'm not good enough to do certain things in life. We have that inside fear, but to your point, you overcame that fear, you took that leap, you learned how to swim, and then look what it did to your entire career. Everything just opened up for you.
Domino effect that you were talking
Domino
about.
effect.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the people that have been put in my life by what I believe is God, who have mentored me and encouraged me and kicked me in the butt when I needed a butt kicking to say, hey, no, what are you thinking? That was dumb. You know, it's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yes.
And, you know, it's all a process. We're here to help each other and support each other. And I think with the right relationships, sincere relationships, you can get anything you want in this life.
Yes.
The world is all about relationships.
That's what it is.
It's about
and
relationships.
connecting people. We had that conversation
we talk about that
prior. Connecting people, you know, the people that have made such an impact in our lives, when we introduce them to, you know, our circle, then it kind of creates more of that butterfly effect as well. And I love how you're so transparent about just the doubts and the anxiety that comes up when you're about to do these events, or when you get asked to, you know. When I got invited up to New York, I mean, Gary Vee was speaking up there. These are giants. And I'm like, you're asking me? What am I bringing to the table? So I had a little bit of that imposter syndrome. And I love how you shared that and just being very transparent, because it's something real. And a lot of times people are like, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But when you have the right people surrounding you, they remind you of not just your accomplishments, but what it took to get there. And that's what helps you move forward.
Yeah. I also think, you know, and this sounds cheesy, but it's worked for me. So
we like cheesy. We like cheesy. Yeah, we love.
Bring on.
Bring it on.
But it's like years ago, I created a mission statement for myself. You know, I know a lot of companies have a mission statement. So I was all like, well, what about a mission statement for my life? And so I, did some research on it, and I came up with, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it, with Jesus Christ as my influence, because that's who I believe. That's my God. To use my skills, talents, and abilities to create happiness for myself and for others. And I think that's what I try to do. I want to be happy, and I want other people around me to be happy. And I think the key to me being happy, I think, or anyone, is ensuring that the people around you are happy. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's about the people that are around me, and what can I do to help you? And again, it's that relationship kind of thing. And I think it all kind of comes back to you.
It's very well said, Chuck.
It just comes back to you.
It sure does.
God wants us to take care of other people and to be good to each other. And when you do that, he's all like, you did it. Good job.
Yes.
Pat you on the back. Here's some blessings for you.
Yeah.
For you too.
Yeah.
Not to get up on a soapbox and start preaching or anything like that.
I love it.
It works for me. It works for me. And I know not everyone has the same beliefs and morals or whatever that I have, but this works for me. And by no means, you got to be careful when you start talking about God, because people start looking at you under a microscope and going, okay, they want you to mess up or whatever.
Right.
But I'm not Bible thumping or anything like that, and I am not perfect by any means. And I have other things that I will not talk about here, that I struggle with, but I'm working on those things.
Sure.
I'm working on those things.
And I think that's something that everybody can relate to, is that we're all working on ourselves. And I think in the times that we're struggling or really trying to figure out what the next step is, that quote that we've heard, at any time that you feel helpless, you find ways to be helpful. And one of the ways to do that is to help other people, whether it's through the philanthropy work or just, getting up in the morning and doing like blessing bags and just the little tiny things that make the big difference. And those, I think, are what help you feel fulfilled as well. And makes you, and just kind of reiterates the fact that you're on the right path.
It is a good feeling.
It is a good feeling
when you bring joy to somebody else. It really, for me, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that has more meaning than all the materialistic things.
I have the same type of beliefs as you, Chuck. When I feel, when I'm in my head, when I'm feeling self-pity for myself, when I'm feeling fearful or full of anxiety, I've been taught by mentors in my life that I need to go out and help others. And when you do that, when you get out of yourself and you go help somebody, you go push the cart for somebody at HEB, you pay for somebody's coffee, you go do something outside of yourself, that action takes you out of yourself and gets you out of your own head. And you're passing that happiness and joy along to somebody else. And what happens is exactly what you said. Maybe not that day, maybe not that week, maybe not that month, but eventually it will come back to you. And what that does is it gets you out of yourself and you're helping others. So I love perfectly what you just said.
Yeah. It works for me. I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
So if you could go back in time, 1988, 87,
1980 something.
Yeah. What advice would you give a young Chuck?
I would tell young sophomore Chuck at Marshall High School to join the ROTC. Well, I was in ROTC, but I would tell young ROTC Chuck to join the drill team. To join the with the little rifles and the spin and everything.
Yes,
because
okay.
those were the cool guys, But I didn't have the confidence. I didn't think that I could do it. I was skinny and scrawny, and I'm still skinny and scrawny, and those rifles were heavy. And I remember picking up the rifle, thinking, "Oh, this is too heavy. I can't spin this and throw it up in the air and catch it and remains." And so they asked me to be a part of it, and I said no. I just didn't have the confidence. I would tell young Chuck, you get in there and do it. You're going to fail. You're going to drop it. But by spinning that rifle, you're going to get bigger muscles, and you'll be stronger, and it'll be easier for you to do. And then you'd be good at it, and then therefore, if you're good at it, you have some pride in it, and then your confidence would be boosted.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the confidence. So I would tell him to do that. I think that would be the ongoing message throughout the life. If I could go back in time, I'd be like, hey, be confident, no self-doubt. Be confident. It's still something that's a struggle, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have to preach it to myself too. Every
day.
day. Every single day. Yeah.
And it's nice, and I appreciate you guys sharing that. You have had similar feelings in your life because you sometimes you look at people and you just think, oh, they got it all. They have no problems whatsoever.
Right.
And then when you get to know them and you're transparent and you peel off the layers and you get down there and you're all like, oh. Yeah, my friend there, he's worried about his hairline receding too. Or, he thinks he's skinny as well. And I'm just like, you have great hair. You've got muscles. I'm skinny and have no, It's like, but we all have those insecurities and we, try to pump each other up. And, but it's nice. It's nice to share it. And I have a handful of people that I do share it with. And I was a little nervous about sharing some of this out here.
No, we appreciate you. Yeah.
I feel safe here.
This is a safe place. And we appreciate you sharing that on
And it's just the three of us, right?
It's just the three of us.
Just the three of us.
Shout out to Trey, who's producing our podcast today. Does an excellent job for us back there.
Well, one of the things when going back into your gallery of credits there, I saw you were part of a lip sync battle. Well, or was it a photo?
I hosted a thing I emceed an event at Valero in town, and they do an amazing job with their employees. They have these events, and it was like a Valero lip sync contest.
Gotcha.
And so there are different departments and people could lip sync. And so it was kind of like that celebrity lip sync battle with LL Cool J. So I got the Kangol and the Adidas.
Just saw that picture. I was like, I'm going to have to ask you about this.
Yeah,
What's
so
going
I
on
did a
here?
little lip sync at the beginning just to open it up. So
That's awesome.
It was fun. Yeah. Shout out to Valero. They were fun.
Yeah, my sister works there, so she was part of that too. I forgot what year she had done it, but they actually won.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
They won the contest?
Yeah, she won the contest. I forgot what
Yeah.
song. I'm going to have to ask her about that one.
That's great. That's fun.
But yes. Well, talking about all the events that you've done, what was one of the most memorable ones for you? I'm sure that's a long list.
Yeah,
so if we had to pick one, should we narrow it down to this year? Because we're almost at the end of this year. So let's narrow it down to this year.
Just this year?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was the trip to Bahamas. So a company hired me to go to the Bahamas for 8 days to MC their employee recognition event.
Wow.
And I'd never been to the Bahamas before, and they all expenses paid, an amazing resort, hung out on the beach, had some refreshing adult beverages, went swimming, went to water. I mean, and then I worked. I mean, it is work. And it's funny because I tell these stories about, I was in the Bahamas and I was doing this, and they're like, "You were working? Really? You were working?" And I'm like, "Yes, I was working." It's like when I was working, I was working. I was working hard.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was playing hard. So that was a memorable event for this year. But looking at my entire career, I told you about the time where I passed that swim test out at SeaWorld to become an animal trainer out there. That was one of those. That was a powerful event. Another memorable event is that I hosted a television show, a kids television show, and the show got nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award. And I was able
talk to us about that.
I was able to go to Los Angeles, walk the red carpet at the. It was called the Kodak Theater at the time. I'm not sure what it's called, but the same place they hold the Oscars. And it was the Emmys.
Yes.
Wow.
And I remember going there, and there was that proverbial red carpet and the velvet rope, and you had your little ticket, and you go there, and you give it to the bouncer, and he looks it over, looks at you or your ID or whatever, and he pulled back that velvet rope. And he said, "Welcome to the Emmys, Mr. Cureau."
Wow.
And I stepped.
That's a made it moment.
Yeah.
You made it.
I don't know about that,
Yes,
but it was fun.
so.
I put my foot on the red carpet, and being the emotional guy that I was, the water wall started, the tears started, and I was like, hold it together. And I called my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I'm on the red carpet," because that's one thing that my mom and I had in common. She liked Hollywood and that kind of industry, and she'd always she dreamed about that as a young girl, but her life took a different path. And so when I started doing the acting stuff, she loved it and was very proud. And so I was like, I'm on the red carpet at the Emmys. So we went there, experience. And that was amazing. Just like paparazzi everywhere, people in the street just screaming.
Oh my gosh!
Big daytime stars. And I refuse to say that we lost because being there was a win.
You won.
I just say we did not take home the Emmy, but it was a win for me and the team of people that I was with. So that was an incredible, memorable moment. And that was one of those things where it's all like, this may never happen again. I'm going to make the best of this.
Live it up.
I did.
Gotta live it
I
up.
talked our whole group of people into a party that we were not invited to, and I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy who's all like, I'm typically not that guy, but I was all like, I don't know these people. I may never see them again.
We were just at the Emmys.
I remember going up to the table and saying, "Oh, okay, trading spaces, boys versus girls."
Right.
And they looked, they're like, "No," and I said, "Produced by blah blah blah." And then I was all like, and I turned to them and I said, "Could it be under someone else's name?" And the guy just looks at me and he goes, just go. And he let us in there. And then my friends were like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Shut up. Is that cool? Is that cool?" Till we get inside. And then we started celebrating. But it was fun. It was a long time ago. So it was in the past. And so now I have the wonderful memory, and then I'm focused on trying to create other moments like that are impactful for me and for people in my life.
So speaking of other moments, and we just spoke about the Emmys, if you could host one national event, what would it be? It could be anything.
Event or show?
Show?
Yeah. I would love to do like a lifestyle morning talk show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've been fortunate here in San Antonio that a lot of the morning talk shows have invited me on as a guest and also as a guest co-host. So that'd be fun to do at a national level.
Okay, you guys hear that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You can call his agent.
He's available.
But the dream job would be to be Janet Jackson's hype man.
There you go. I was waiting for it to pop up.
Put
I was gonna wait for that.
for my future wife. She don't know it yet.
May have been soon.
She's my favorite.
So
sorry. She's my favorite.
You had the pleasure of meeting her, right?
Twice.
So tell us about that experience. Yeah, because
Well,
I know you're a huge Janet Jackson.
Since I was a little boy. Since she was Penny on Good Time.
So
Y'all remember that?
Tell us all about that. We want to hear about that experience.
Well, I mean, it's like
can't get shy here now.
No. I mean, it's like you guys could have done it as well. I mean, there's meet and greets after some shows that you can pay to go to, and for me it was worth it.
Absolutely.
So I paid the fee and stood in line with 50 other people, 49 other people, and had my minute or so with Janet Jackson. I did it twice, once in Vegas, and she was lovely.
She was lovely.
Oh,
she was lovely.
She's tiny. She smelled good.
I bet you still remember the perfume. Using the smell. Yeah.
I would be able to go.
Yeah.
Where's she at?
So what was really cool is this last time she was up in Austin just this past summer, a couple months ago, and I did the meet and greet again, and I walked up and I was all like, we're the same age, and I'm tired just looking at you up there dancing. I said, are you just beat? And she's like, no, I'm okay. And I was like, oh, it was great. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, she is a true pro. I said, thanks for the opportunity to do this. And she's like, you're welcome. And we took the little picture, like a little prom picture, and there were more people in line, and they tried to move you along quickly, and understandably so, but I wanted more time.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I took my 2 prom pictures, next to each other, and then I was like, you know what? I said, I had a picture like this from the Vegas Metamorphosis tour. I said, can we just do something silly? And she just looked at me, and she's like, okay. And I said, okay, well, what do you want to do for this silly picture? And she's like, it's your picture. What do you want to do? And I was all like, when my niece was little, I would take her hair and put it over the top of my head, and I said, Uncle Chuck has hair. And so I told her that story, and I said, can we just put the hair over there and take that picture? And she looked at me like, and I was like, no, too much. And she goes, no, let's do it. And
wow, that's
so
cool.
Yeah, she kind of pulls me over, puts her hair over there, she points to it, and
that's awesome.
Where's my phone?
Yes.
Okay, well, this is the prom picture.
That's the prom picture.
That's
the prom picture.
And then, real quick, I just love
you got to show it.
Yeah.
It's under favorites.
There we go.
It's under. Look at that.
Let me see
How
that.
ridiculous!
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous. But
Yes,
hey, it's fun.
I'm not gonna lie. If
Long
I had
hair.
that picture, Chuck, I would have it like right in my centerpiece when you walk in my house.
Go to my office at SeaWorld.
No,
It's on the wall. It's like a 2x3 on the wall. It's
no shame. Totally do it. That's awesome.
fun. Life's about
she's
moments
such a
of
good sport to
experiences.
do
She
that.
was. She was
I
a
love
great
that.
sport. Just
That
a
is-
lovely human being.
That's
it's-
a great memory.
Yeah.
You'll cherish it
I'm
forever.
sweating just thinking about it.
You're getting so excited.
Some water up in here.
Oh, man. I love that.
And the show just went off the rails once I start talking about Janet Jackson.
Anytime I see Janet Jackson now, I'm gonna remember that story, Chuck. That's awesome.
And then you just went to the Beyonce concert too, right?
I did, yeah. Work hard, play hard. Went up there.
She puts on a good show.
It was a good show. So, yeah.
The Queen Bee.
Good time. It was a good time. Yeah, that was something else. That was that's a beehive, right? You don't want to get stung by that beehive. They had fans out and everything. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Were you right up at the front too?
I was not
like,
right up at the front, but I wasn't far.
Yeah.
I wasn't far.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Well, so what is the next? We talked about that before, but what is the next big thing for you?
Yeah, so I'm looking long term as to I'm not 20 anymore, so I'm toward the there's more years behind me in my career than there are in front of me. So I'm trying to, figure out and navigate the career as I move forward. And I've got great jobs now. I mean, I've been with SeaWorld for 35 years, and they've been amazing to me. They paid my way through college, gave me the opportunity to swim with whales and dolphins, educate people, learn about conservation, help out with conservation, and rescued animals. So that's an amazing career that I have had with them and continue to have, but now in a different capacity. I'm in the marketing department with a great team there. So I have that. I still have the Spurs for at least another season, and I'm going to cherish every moment of that for however long that lasts. And then there's my MC business, and so I'm kind of focused on growing that.
Yes.
while still maintaining the other ones. And it's tough, you know. It's the struggle is real, and you got to grind, you got to hustle, and you both know as much as not better than anyone. But trying to grow that locally here in San Antonio, but also nationally, because that could be something that I could do.
Absolutely.
Into retirement. If I ever retire from the other jobs, I could MC up until, as long as I can talk and walk.
We need to get you back on the red carpet.
I know.
Yeah, that would be great, right?
Yes.
Fun,
so where can our guests find you on social media, Chuck?
I'm on, I'm not crazy. I'm not as great of influencer as you guys are. I wouldn't even say I'm an influencer, but I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram occasionally. And then if you want to see stuff about the MC jobs, it's chuckcureau.com. You can message me and reach me through that, and I'll try to do better on the social media front. Be like you guys.
This has been great, Chuck.
This has been fun.
Yeah, this has been
fun. But brother, got to get back to work.
You gotta get back to the hustle.
Yeah. But, thank you for having me. Continued success and blessings to you guys, and thanks for having this platform to share people in San Antonio's stories. Because if one person learns something from this story or your other guest stories, they can, it might help them. So that's good. It's a service you're doing.
Yes. Well, we thank you, and we're so honored that you took the time out of your busy schedule to be here with us, and you understand the vision of empowerment and the 210 and being a part of that.
Yeah.
We're truly, truly grateful.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so
We'd
much.
like to start with gratitude. We like to end with gratitude. Thank you for ending with gratitude as well. We would also like to shout out Trey, our producer, Quentin, who allows us the production studio to host our podcast for the Empowerment 210. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. We're very thankful for you guys. We're very thankful for the guests that tune in and listen to our podcast as well. Thank you for the support, and we look forward to continuing this, and thank you for being along for the journey. Chuck, thank you again. We'll see you guys soon.
We'll see you at the next episode.